Look, it's either incompetence or corruption, and I tend to think corruption. This is what I think these guys want to keep judging fights, and they want the favor of the promoters, and the money is in Usyk.
Yeah.
Usyk is a huge name. He's their big star in the heavyweight division.
They don't want like a guy coming in from a different sport. And
one professional boxing
exactly,
match.
and making the biggest upset in boxing history. That would be that would be pretty crazy.
It really almost was the biggest upset in boxing history. He's in the conversation.
100%.
100% in the conversation
100%.
of the greatest boxer in the heavyweight division ever. And you won 10 fucking rounds, man. You won 10 rounds.
Yeah, so close to that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't give a fuck what those judges were saying.
No.
Those judges were trying to say it was close.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like you were up. I think one of them had you up by 1 round.
Yeah.
And the other ones had a draw.
Yeah. I think that's
a crime. If that went to scorecards and somehow or another you lost that decision, that would have been a crime. Crime.
I guess apparently Usyk was up on the scorecards 2-1.
That's robbery. That's the robbery.
Yeah.
That's the robbery. If that's the case, that's a robbery.
The humiliation of boxing's arrogant, stuck-up fan base continues. Yes, I'm talking to you, boxing fans. Get off your high horse. It just happened again. You guys aren't that good. Okay? And for years, all we've been listening to is boxing fans on their high horse. Stuck up snobs. But the way some of these boxers were talking about it was that, does Rico even land a punch on Oleksandr Usyk? We've heard it all before. I'm going to talk about the referee of this fight. I'm going to talk about the judging of this fight as well, because it's all an absolute disgrace, and boxing has been made a mockery once again on the main stage.
Joe Rogan did not hold back, calling the Usyk versus Rico verdict outright corruption and demanding one thing the entire combat sports world is already debating: a rematch.
Yeah, but then you have something like, hey guys, let's look at the scoring cards again, and let other judges look at the scorecards and look at the fight and score it again, because
well, here's what you know
it
it's
doesn't
crazy.
make any sense.
Here's what you know it's crazy. It was the most competitive fight of Usyk's career as a heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And they're not even talking at all about a rematch.
No.
That's kind of crazy, right? Isn't that kind of crazy? They're saying Deontay Wilder, which all love to Deontay.
Yeah.
But Deontay is not Deontay Wilder of 2019.
No.
He's a different guy now.
Rico insists Usyk has realized his time at the top is over, pointing to his silence on future opponents after this fight, while explaining exactly why he deserves a rematch.
That's a good thing that you just brought that up, because before this fight, you heard the whole conversation. Okay, we're gonna do Rico. After that, I want to fight the winner of Dubois Wardley, and after that, I want to fight Tyson Fury again.
Right. You don't hear
The other two are not in the conversation anymore.
Yeah.
So, without taking too much credit for it, I think like with this fight, he saw like, this was a little harder than I expected.
Yeah.
So, let's take a different route. And for me, I don't want a rematch just to have the rematch. I would like the rematch because it makes sense. There's a story within this rematch.
It's huge.
And
Calling it outright corruption, Rogan points to the referee's biggest mistakes, arguing the officiating was unfair and failed to do justice to what happened inside the ring.
Bro, he was winning 8-2 in my eyes.
Okay.
I thought he was winning 8-2 going into the 11th round when the fight was stopped. Now, the fight shouldn't have been stopped the way it was stopped, but also that wasn't 8 seconds after the knockdown. So after he gets knocked down, he doesn't have his mouthpiece. So then they have to go over to the corner. They rinse off his
that's a mistake
mouthpiece.
right there.
Yeah, the whole thing's a mistake. It takes like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the referee stops it when he's still standing, moving around.
Look, if there's one of the things that changed in boxing since I referee boxing now.
It's literally the end of the round. I think he actually stops it when the round's over.
But look, as the referee, Joe, you know all of this, and if you don't, you're not doing your job.
Stepping in, Teddy Atlas breaks down the controversial 11th round knockdown, explaining exactly what happened, where everything went wrong, and why the moment has sparked endless debate.
Usyk and Verhoeven. Let's go, right here. All right, here we are. So you see the clock here. The clock's gonna disappear, everybody. There's the uppercut. All right, you see the time here. Now we did our own clock. 30 seconds go from the time that he got dropped, his knee hit the ground, to the time that the 8 count, actually he gives him a 10 count, I don't know why, but by the time he gives him the count, then he brings him over to change his mouthpiece or to clean his mouthpiece, right? Look at the way he's stumbling. I mean, he's out, he's hurt, but he gets up. Look, they fumble the mouthpiece. 30 seconds has gone by, not 8. 30 seconds he's had to recover.
Atlas defends the referee, insisting there is no basis for corruption claims, arguing the official made difficult calls in real time rather than acting with any dishonest intent.
I'm not going to destroy the ref as far as being corrupt or anything like that, because, first of all, I don't think he heard the bell. We could hardly hear the bell because it was so faint. And with that crowd going crazy there with the dramatic happenings that were going on. But I really believe that the referee already made up his mind simultaneously as the bell was about to ring. The ref thought he took too much damage. He was stepping in to stop it. The bell rang. So he couldn't stop the motion. I mean, once your mind makes up its mind to tell the body to go forward, you can't stop it. So I think the referee in this way, and I don't care if you get mad at me.
On the other hand, MMA Guru is not convinced. He argues boxing has seen plenty of similar moments where referees never stepped in, insisting the stoppage only spared Usyk from further punishment. According to him, allowing the 12th round could have resulted in a draw. He also reflects on Usyk's career, saying Usyk has been on the wrong end of bad decisions before, but this time the officials got it completely wrong against Rico.
I won't be convinced otherwise. They stepped in because it was Rico Verhoeven. And he was about to embarrass you guys. Okay? I think Usyk needed that 12th round to potentially get a draw. I'm going to be very real. I think he needed it bad, and that would have been a humiliating result because Usyk schooled AJ. And the reason why I don't like this being done to Usyk, and I hate that he's under fire now, is because Usyk forever was this guy. Why is it a split decision between him and Fury? He clearly beat Fury. Why is Fury getting all that chance to survive in round whatever it was of their first fight when he was being kept up by the ropes? That should have been a fucking stoppage itself. You want to talk about a stoppage? That should have been a stoppage way more than this fight should have been by far.
Lashing out in frustration, MMA Guru unleashes a brutal rant at boxing, calling the sport a joke. He criticizes the matchmaking, the judging, and the officials for failing combat sports athletes. In his view, Rico was not only robbed but also treated unfairly, arguing the controversial result has embarrassed boxing and damaged the sport's credibility in front of fans around the world.
It's a fucking joke, boxing is, man. They done Rico fucking dirty. They did him so dirty. And I like Oleksandr Usyk. I think he's a great dude. And I think he's a great boxer. And people are saying shit like, don't ever mention Usyk's name against Muhammad Ali ever again. Dude, Rico would beat the shit. Dude, Rico would take Ali's lunch money, dude. I'm fucking doubling down all the way. All the way I'm doubling down. I just watched a fucking ITV News post on YouTube about the time Muhammad Ali defended his title against a part-time scaffolder from Yorkshire. Okay? And I'm not joking about that either. I swear I did. And this guy was landing mean shots on Ali. And Ali put him down in the later rounds and finished him. Joke sports.
Speaking on Usyk's performance, Max Kellerman raises serious concerns, saying it fell well below expectations. He argues struggling against a kickboxer is a poor look for one of boxing's greatest champions, and believes the performance exposed clear signs of decline. Kellerman also reveals Turki Alalshik's reaction to the fight, explaining why the controversial result has only intensified the debate across the combat sports world.
Rico was beating this guy, and it was a bad stoppage, and Turki mercifully stepped in and said, okay, wait, hey, everybody, this guy deserves a rematch, but this needs to happen first. Agit's been waiting. Here's a quote from Turki Al-Sheikh since then. It was a bad stoppage. Rico deserved to continue to fight. It's clear that Usyk was controlling in the end, but the referee should have allowed the fight to reach clear result. It is the call of Usyk now what he does next. Caballel has waited a long time. We want to do the fight in a stadium in Germany, and after that, We want to see the rematch with Rico, and I want to do 2 more fights with Rico. I had Rico up 3 rounds entering the 11th round. He told you this, Mike Copper.
Yes.
Furthermore, Kellerman insists what he witnessed exposed Usyk's decline. He says Usyk looked heavier than at any other point in his career, lacked his usual sharpness, and never appeared as quick or precise as fans expected. Instead of securing an early knockout, Usyk needed several rounds before taking control, which Kellerman believes raises even more questions about whether his overall level of performance has started to slip.
It looks like Usyk took the assignment lightly to me, right? He looked a little fat. Yeah, for the first time in his career, he looked a little fat. Maybe like Floyd did to Conor, right? His plan was, look, I'm not in the best of shape, but this guy can't go 12 rounds with me. You know, we'll see what he has. Oh, look, he's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to have to wait, tire him out. I'll catch him late. So I get that. And the feeling I got watching the fight was that's what Usyk was doing, and he would catch him late. However, Usyk is 39 years old, and it looked to me at a certain point like, yeah, I still think he's going to catch him, but he's running out of rounds. Right. He better do it pretty soon, right? Like, did you guys at any point feel like, actually, Usyk might run out of rounds and Rico could do this?
Another boxing legend, Tony Bellew, reacts with clear frustration, insisting Rico was denied a fair result after delivering one of the strongest performances of his career. Bellew argues the outcome should never have gone the way it did and believes the officiating changed everything. While praising Mark Lyson for his experience and reputation, he says the referee made a crucial mistake that completely altered the direction and final outcome of the fight.
Oh, listen, I was as well, and it was definitely stopped too early. And I said this on the night. I said I thought it was an injustice, really. I said Mark Lyson is a good referee, but he's made a mistake, and I do feel for him. For Rico, regardless of what's going on before or what you've got, you deserve to see the 12th round. There's just no getting around it. There's no excuses. There's no nothing. I don't believe. We see some of the stories that I said. There's conspiracy theorists and this rep, it was rigged and this, that. It's nonsense. No one's rigging anything. That's just pathetic. But at the same time, at the start of round 11, I've got you ahead on the cards, and I just feel I've heard what Mark said, and he said, you know, he didn't hear the bell.
Explaining the referee's side of the controversy, Bellew says Mark Lyson likely lost track of the bell during the closing moments. Even so, he notes the 10-second clapper clearly signals that time remains before the round ends. While Bellew continues to believe Usyk deserved the victory, he insists the stoppage came from an honest officiating error rather than any deliberate attempt to influence the outcome.
And Peter has come out and said the same. He didn't even hear the bell, but I think one thing we all do here is the clapper, and we know there's 10 seconds. And when there's 10 seconds in a fight, unless someone's on the floor asleep, let them get up. Unless they're out and you win out. I mean, there's 5 unanswered punches when the fight stopped, but your wits are about, you're moving your head, you're trying to evade them, and I don't believe it was I believe it was a wrong stoppage.
So and that's also one of the reasons why I can stay calm. And just like Tony just said, I believe that Mark, he's a human being, and he made a mistake. And is this the right moment to make a mistake? I was so close in writing history.
As for Usyk, he appears more interested in facing Deontay Wilder than giving Rico a rematch. Many boxing experts believe that is the wrong decision, arguing it is the right time for Usyk to retire. They warn that continuing to fight could lead to unnecessary punishment, and the damage he absorbs now may have serious consequences for his health and quality of life in the years ahead.
I'm concerned about your future. You're being caught more. Your chin isn't the same. I'm seeing differences. Do you?
The way that I look at it, Gareth, is it's not. It doesn't just because I tell you that I think it's time to retire, doesn't actually mean that I don't think you can keep winning. I think at that point in your career now, where is the value in the damage that you're going to be taking that's going to have an effect on your later life? How much is that worth in comparison to what you can gain in carrying on now? You know, with certain fighters like Curtis, when Curtis won the British title, that was the whole dream, the whole thing. When the British title retired.
Even people from Usyk's own camp are beginning to question what comes next. Oleksandr Usyk believes the time has come for Usyk to step away from boxing and embrace retirement. According to Usyk, Usyk has already achieved everything the sport could offer. He says Usyk should now focus on his family, his business interests, and building a fulfilling life outside the ring before taking any more unnecessary risks.
Brother, I'll be fair with you. If I was there to advise him, his next opponent would be his wife, Katerina, his daughter Maria, his daughter Lisa, and his sons. His family matters, maybe his business issues. That's what he has to take care of now. He has to stop. It's better to leave 1 hour before than 2 minutes after. Unfortunately, this is the truth. It concerns not just boxing, it concerns every single thing. It concerns you, it concerns me, it concerns every one of us. You can't earn all monies of the world. You can't beat all fighters of the world.
At the same time, Usyk has hinted that retirement is drawing closer. He plans to give up all of his championship belts but wants one final fight before walking away from the sport. That farewell plan has now come into sharper focus, with reports suggesting his last appearance could happen under the Zuffa boxing banner. If true, it would mark a surprising ending to one of boxing's most celebrated careers and add another major twist to an already controversial chapter.
Oleksandr Usyk, and it hadn't happened then. But for me, he has one fight. I don't think he'll have more than one fight. I think that'll be it. It'll be under Zuffa boxing, and it probably will be Deontay Wilder, which is why we saw Derek Chisora fishing in Moscow for another big fight. Yeah. I think that will be it.
At the same time, Usyk's choice of opponent has become one of the biggest talking points. Although he has shown interest in facing Jones, many believe a rematch with Rico is the fight that truly deserves to happen after their controversial first meeting. Fans argue Rico tested Usyk far more than expected and exposed weaknesses rarely seen before. Others also point to the significant differences in age, style, and experience, believing the Jones matchup is far less likely to become reality.
John
in a
Jones
boxing match
isn't fighting because they don't want to pay him the money. And so then they finally give him the money, and it's to go box Usyk?
Okay, can we all agree that this is infinitely more interesting than Usyk-Wilder?
No.
Really?
Why do I want to see John Jones
It's more
box
interesting,
Oleksandr
of course.
Usyk?
It's more interesting, of course.
Usyk-Wilder, Usyk-Verhoeven, Usyk-Jones. Rank them.
Boxing, yes?
Yeah.
Wilder, Verhoeven.
Nah, Rico #1. We need some finality to that.
No. What finality? He won.
I'm down to see Rico.
What are you talking about? You won. That was as fugazi of a win as we've ever seen.
Wilder is a
it was an awful stoppage, and he was losing on the scorecards.
No. Yeah.
Rico was losing on the scorecards.
No. In the people's scorecards.
Turning to what lies ahead for Usyk, Gareth A. Davies says a showdown with Wilder is only one of several paths on the table. He believes a rematch with Rico has become a genuine option following the controversy surrounding their first fight. Davies explains that Usyk's decision to vacate his world titles has opened the door for major changes throughout the heavyweight division. With the belts now available, he expects the coming months to reshape the championship picture and redefine the future of the division.
He's going to fight Deontay Wilder, in my view, and maybe a rematch with Rico Verhoeven. We'll get into all of that anyway, but it's opened up the division, and the new era is beginning. With the last battle between AJ and Fury will no doubt take place at some point in the next 5 or 6 months. But the new era is on us, in my view. And when you look at the division right now, I mean, you look at how they stack up. When you look at the belts, the IBF is vacant. Frank Sanchez is 1, Moses is 3, 2's not rated, Filip Hrgovic is 4. So that moves towards the August the 29th bout.
As the situation continues to unfold, several new opponents have been linked to Usyk's farewell fight. Usyk is also getting severe criticism as Simon Jordan believes Usyk waited too long before making his decision, leaving the planned Parker vs. Fabio matchup in limbo. At the same time, reports claim Usyk is also considering Parker alongside Wilder as potential final opponents. According to Jordan, the goal is obvious. Usyk wants his last appearance to be the biggest event possible, facing the opponent who can generate the most excitement and attention.
Fury, he gave me 2 against Dubois and he delivered. And now I think he's earned the right to maybe take a little bit of time and make decisions for him, as Paul's just alluded to there. There's a slight bit of disappointment, if I'm honest, with the length of time that he took, because obviously that kind of affected the fight between Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley. And I think every fighter deserves the right to hear Anu in the ring rather than via email or text or however that came for Fabio. I also, in that interview, which parts of it wasn't played there, I watched it all yesterday, and he was talking about the Wardley whether he would fight Wardley or not, or whether he would actually favour a Parker fight, is what he was referring to.
We'll get into that. Let's leave that in part for a second, because I want to evaluate that in isolation, because I've got my own views on that as well.
As for Rico, he continues to wait for the rematch he believes he has earned, while Turkey's interest has only fueled more speculation about what happens next. Regardless of the official scorecards, Rico insists the fight was far closer than the judges suggested. He believes momentum changed several times throughout the contest, and argues too many important moments were ignored. In his view, the final verdict failed to reflect what truly happened inside the ring, keeping the controversy alive.
To be honest, I felt like I was a lot closer than you were just reading up on those scorecards. To be honest, that is my opinion. That's how I felt. That's how I believed the fight was going. But we had the open scorecards, so we knew like after the first 4, we were like tied up. I was like, I felt like it was a little bit, but okay, this is what it is. Then after another 4 rounds, so we were 8 rounds in, I was like, oh, I'm ahead now. I'm flowing. I'm really starting to feel it. And then just that we're still tied up.
On the other hand, Simon Jordan believes the stoppage may have actually prevented Usyk from finishing the job in the 12th round. He argues Rico was still throwing punches, but was no longer causing any real problems, and his kickboxing background offered few answers once the momentum shifted. Jordan also believes the reaction would have been completely different if Usyk had found himself in Rico's position, making the debate even more intense.
I was super surprised.
What did you think, Simon?
Oh no, I think it was a bad stoppage. Despite the fact that I think that Usyk would have stopped him in the 12th round, and that was something he won't agree with, but I think he had the absolute right, not just because it was 11 rounds into the fight, but I think if the roles were reversed, and I said it to Peter yesterday, if he'd have had Usyk in that position, I very much doubt they'd have stopped the fight. And it might be because you've got, quote unquote, a kickboxer fighting in a heavyweight championship. There's no real visibility of the background to him, and he wasn't given the same courtesy I think that Usyk would have been given if the roles had been reversed. So I think it's undeniable. I think most sensible heads, most people with eyes, will suggest A, he was still throwing back. Yeah, he was taking some punishment, but he was still throwing some shots back.
That is all for today's explosive update, but the controversy is far from over. Do you believe Rico deserved the rematch, or did Usyk do enough to keep the victory? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest boxing stories.